All right, excellent. It is August 12th, 2024. This is Dave Langham here with unCOMPlex. This is a special edition. We're here with Andrew Sabalik, who's the Executive Director of the Workers' Compensation Institute and has been for the last 2 or 3 years. I think it's 3 years now. Before that, he was with the Division of Workers' Compensation here in the state of Florida. He had about a 20-year career with them, and before that, he worked with NCCI, which is a rating bureau and an actuarial organization that works with workers' comp literally all over the United States. So Andrew's got some unique perspectives, I think, in terms of regulators and our system as a whole. And he brings a national exposure that's important in terms of WCI because back when I started going to this conference, Andrew, it was a Florida workers' comp conference. And I think that's your experience too, but that's not where we are anymore, is it?
No, sir. In fact, I think this year we'll be having between 5,500 and 6,000 attendees. And the breakdown of where those attendees are coming from are about 45% are coming from other states than Florida. So it's really become the national conference for workers' compensation.
Yeah, and part of that is the educational speakers. I get that. Some folks are coming because of the vast assortment that Steve Rissman tells us about every year. But I think a big part of that draw is also just the connecting with others in the industry. Is that fair?
Oh yeah, you've hit on kind of the two pillars, two of the three pillars of the conference. One is, of course, the educational sessions we have, and we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to grow their knowledge and subject matter expertise. We have over 150 sessions this year, and with 440 speakers. And then there's, I know it's just it's crazy and those sessions, like we just talked about earlier, uh, they are multi-jurisdictional in nature. Some are really national, and you have a few that are still Florida specific. And of course, then you have the business development and networking opportunities that occur every day and occur in every type of activity or function that happened during the conference. And really, our third pillar of the conference is the opportunity for the attendees to give back. And that's where we've partnered with Give Kids the World, Kids Chance of Florida, and the Pet Alliance. So we think we are unique in many ways. And one last thing on Monday night, not too many conferences have concerts the way we do and the talent we bring in.
Well, and there's a couple things that you just said that sort of tweaked my interest. Can you just, in a sentence or two, what is Give Kids the World and why would anybody care?
Give Kids the World. That is an organization that provides scholarships to children whose parents were injured on the job or who may have died on the job. And this is the fourth year that Kids Chance of Florida will be holding their golf tournament, which is the primary funding activity for Give Kids the World. And I think once it's all sold out again with golfers and sponsors. And I believe that once it concludes over the last 4 years, they will have raised, I think, in excess of $200,000 for scholarship opportunities for these children, which is fantastic.
That's amazing. And then on Saturday, you have like a work day at the village. What's that about?
Oh, Give Kids the World. Yeah, that's something that I think Jim McConaughey first spearheaded about 11 years ago. Give Kids the World. It's a 89 acre village where kids through Make a Wish Foundation and their families can attend a week long cost-free vacation. And it's been a wonderful partnership with Give Kids the World. In fact, last year, which was our 10th year that we've been partnering with them, NCCI and all the people that have been involved, we have raised over $1 million for Give Kids the World. And that just tells you the community spirit that, you know, our industry has and continues to grow. We also have a partnership with the Pet Alliance. And if things go well, we're looking to expand our charitable giving offerings in the next couple years, maybe sooner rather than later. I got some things in the back of my mind that I'm going to be sharing with our board of advisors to get their input on. It's just that that's one thing that we may have some additional opportunity. And I think if we're able to pull it off, everybody who's involved with the conference will have a smile on their face.
Yeah, and in fairness, I go to a lot of conferences across the country and have been doing that for, I'm not going to say how long, but at the end of the day, you say that this is about the community, but other conferences don't make these kinds of charitable efforts or charitable contributions. I don't think this is an industry thing. I think this is a WCI thing, or am I missing it? Is this going on elsewhere?
Oh, yeah, no, I I do not believe so, and that's what makes us unique. And when I say community, we have so many volunteers that go out to give kids the world on that Saturday morning. We have, I think this year there's going to be close to 700 volunteers doing certain service projects. So when I say about the community, it's our partnership with these charitable giving organizations. But if the people didn't respond the way they do in offering their time, and then the companies that are providing their financial commitment to these charitable organizations, it certainly would not be as successful as it is now.
And it's a big social event too. Every time I've done it, I've run into people I haven't seen in years and have some really great conversations. Um, but onto the educational content. I see you've got copies of that up, but I've been looking through my book. Um, every year this book comes, it reminds me of this dates me, but it reminds me of the old days when the Sears catalog for Christmas would show up.
Uh,
You know, um,
yeah.
finally something that I'm interested in. The old Sears catalog with the underwear and the school clothes, never really cared about that. But when the toy catalog showed up, and that's sort of the way I feel when this thing hits my mailbox. But as you say, 400 plus speakers, this is like a buffet you can't see the end of. So honestly, if you were going to pick a couple, one, two, three things out of here that you think are must-sees for a new attendee, people that are trying to get a handle on workers' comp and get into this community, what one, two, or three things would you say that's a don't miss? You need to hit this.
Okay, I'm going to be very strategic in my statement because, from my perspective, every session is a must see.
But we but
Our
we can't
breakout.
go.
I
Yeah.
know our moderators have done a terrific job in organizing and getting the speakers. So that's what I want to, convey to them. First of all, I think to kick off the conference and set the stage, I hope everybody gets a chance to attend the opening session. And we have some awards and some opening comments, and then we're going to turn it over to our industry keynote panel, which is moderated by Mark Walls and Kimberly George. And we're going to have a panel of executives who are going to talk about the changing risk management perspective as it relates to workers' compensation. It certainly seems that a risk manager these days, or anyone who's involved in managing risk for a company can't look at workers' compensation in a silo. And I think uh, this industry keynote is going to explain why it's necessary for everyone kind of to maybe broaden their horizons as they look at workers' compensation. And then after that, we have Brad Sir. Brad is a fantastic author, a best-selling author of both nonfiction novels or books geared to children, and he's also written some comic books, and he's also written a lot of fiction books as well. And his focus in his keynote address is going to be on establishing your legacy. And he's also going to mention how really ordinary people can change the world. And I think in our industry, that happens every day, and sometimes we just lose sight of that. And so I think his address will really impact our folks and resonate. So that's the opening session. Going from there, we have our live surgery that occurs on Tuesday morning, and for the first time, we're not letting people know what type of surgery it's going to be. So it's going to kind of happen based upon what's happening in the operating room of the facility. So it's going to be very unique in that aspect. But I think it gives really, especially newcomers who haven't been there, an opportunity to visualize a surgery on a workers' compensation patient. And I have to remind everyone that it's you don't see blood and guts there. You actually see the surgeon going into the anatomy of another human being, and it's quite remarkable.
But in
We
fairness, in
also
fairness, you're not cutting somebody open at the hotel.
Yeah, no, 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 not at the hotel. It's we're going to transmit the surgery from the surgical facility into the ballroom, and then we'll have the doctors moderating it
Yeah.
from the stage. Yep, yep.
See, to me, that's the most I don't know, compelling piece of it is having the live doctor there in the room who's sort of explaining to me what it is that I'm seeing. And that's what brings it together and helps it make sense for me. If it was just the video on the screen, I'm afraid I
Yeah,
wouldn't follow it very well.
yeah. Good point. Good point. And then also for first timers, we all know that even though workers' compensation basically in any state statute wants to be self-executing, litigation is ubiquitous in our industry. And we're always happy to have the first Florida DCA come down, and they'll be hearing a couple cases. So it really provides anyone new to the industry or anyone who hasn't been involved with seeing what an appellate review of a case is, the opportunity to do so. So I think those two are very unique, especially to first timers.
But all three of those, the thread that I see in what you've just described is that all three of those are providing a high altitude look down on some part of what is critical to this whole workers' comp community. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, when you go through the booklet, I think you can identify sessions that are, you know, are focused in at a 20 or 30,000 foot level on a specific topic, while there are other sessions that really go into detail on an issue. And that's regardless of what track or what profession you're in.
Yeah, it seems to me if you really want to get down and dirty on things like OSHA regulations, You can go learn how to do a mask fit. And that, I mean, is really specific as compared to something like the first DCA that's giving you an overview.
That is correct.
So it's,
You're exactly right. And for example, we'll also talk about the Florida case law update, where you get a little bit more specificity on some of the critical cases that are affecting work comp in Florida. But also, we've realized, of course, we have lots of people coming around the nation. We've incorporated a national case law update as part of another program. So there's attorneys from around the nation that are going to be sitting on that panel, and they're really going to kind of give attendees highlights of significant cases from other states that people need to be aware of.
is that the Wednesday morning multi-state program?
Well, that's kind of too. That's part. The one I just referenced is part of the National Workers' Compensation Review breakout, and I believe that national case law highlight is going to be on Tuesday morning, and then what you just mentioned, the multi-state event is held on Wednesday, and there they get a little bit more specific on uh, a, a specific topic uh, on workers' compensation that is applicable to each jurisdiction. So they drill a little bit deeper on uh, a specific issue related to workers' compensation litigation.
So you just illustrated for everybody just how far my senility has gone because that the one on Tuesday, I'm speaking on that panel. So
Yeah, that's right.
went
See,
right over my
there you
head.
go.
Went right over my head. I
There you go.
appreciate you.
I know exactly.
I
Hey, don't
appreciate you
feel
not
bad.
driving that nail. Yeah.
It's not senility. It's just there's so many things that are kind of up here in our minds in the next week or two. It's hard to keep them on track sometimes.
Let's switch gears and talk about the social element for a minute because you talk about the different opportunities that people have to connect. I feel like I have some of the best conversations of my week at WCI in the hallways. Impromptu, I just run into people. Um, but what about this concert you mentioned on Monday night? What's gonna be
Yeah.
special or big about that?
Yeah. So I think you raise an interesting point here because the opportunity to meet people and network happens all the time there. It can be organically, or it could be through events such as, the Monday night reception where we're going to have, well, I would say maybe over 2,000 people attend, and Daughtry's going to be there. It's going to be a large crowd. And of course, we have the exhibit hall. We'll have over 250 exhibitors showcasing their services and products. That's another large event. Uh, but then at the same time, there's multiple receptions going on kind of after hours. And then also, even during the sessions, and like you said, Judge, in the hallways, there's opportunities to meet new people, reestablish friendships in all of those kind of tiered activities. So we think we have something for everyone, from large scale events to sitting down next to someone at a session and just saying hello to them and start talking to them.
And at the outset of our conversation, you talked about the three legs on the stool, but I guess the exhibit hall is kind of a fourth leg, isn't it? Isn't that pretty important in
Well, yeah,
terms of
I
draw?
kind of categorize that in the business development, professional networking opportunities. Yeah, and we're very thankful that we have so many returning exhibitors and new exhibitors because without their financial commitment to the conference, we certainly wouldn't be as successful. But it shows that, at least for them, there is a value in exhibiting at our conference because they do get an opportunity to meet a lot of people. and create some business opportunities. And we're very appreciative of that. And I think you will, with our theme this year, you may be seeing a lot of costumes.
The future? Yeah.
Yeah, seeing it's supercharged. You may see a lot of costumes in the exhibit hall this year. They're very excited.
Well, my absent-mindedness comes home to roost almost every year. I forget to wear my name tag. And so I get down there to the exhibit hall and I'll be walking with a group of people and they'll let everybody in but me. That's like, where's your name tag? And so I think that's part of your effort, I think, to make sure that we're all part of the community, right? So the name tag is
Oh, yeah,
an important way that
yeah,
we,
yeah. I've been really trying to send out numerous notifications to all of our attendees in terms of specific logistical and what I call administrative issues and reminders. And one of them is to pick up their name badges. You can begin doing that on Sunday at 12. I think it goes 12 to 5 p.m. and then at 8 a.m. on Monday morning at 5 p.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Tuesday the same time. And the registration desk, you can't miss it if you kind of walk down the convention floor. We'll have some volunteers there helping you out, and it's categorized by your last name. So,
and it's helpful to me. I get absent-minded, but I run into these people in the hall like we were just talking about. So there's the exhibit hall reason to wear the name tag, but I really appreciate that people have them on just in the hallway because I see faces I recognize and it helps me to glance down and see what the name is or the company, and that sort of helps to stimulate my remembrance, my recollection. So,
yep, yep. Yep. Yeah, I think just touching on that, I know a lot of people have downloaded the conference app, and we've seen lots of people creating their own meetup activities, which is another way people are connecting with each other. And the app allows you to do that because you can, scroll through the attendees, and if there's someone you want to connect with, you can send them a little note, say hi, and see if they want to connect. So, we're really trying to always improve, the opportunities for people to connect with each other, either on a professional basis or even on a personal basis.
okay, but for a dinosaur, I have no idea how this app works, and I, I give my phone to one of my kids at least once a month and say fix something. What is the app about? How is it easy? Is it easy
Oh,
for
well,
old
I
people?
well, I mean, I'm not a big app person because I don't need more information. However, when we first started exploring it, because this is the second year when we did this, I found it to be very easy to use. All the conference information is up there. You can filter all the sessions by tracks. In the program booklet, you'll see breakouts on certain professions, but on the app, we've kind of categorized them uh, through tracks based upon the subject matter. So you can click on a track, and then you can see what type of sessions are available, and then you can save them. If you want to attend, you click attend. You can interact and ask questions of the presenters, and they'll respond through the app. So everything's on there, and it is quite easy to use, and it's been a great help for us in terms of just overall event management. But the feedback that we've received from the people that are using the app is tremendous. I mean, even for exhibitors, they have the ability to retrieve leads just by scanning the QR code.
So,
So they're
so what do I do? I take my phone and I go to the iStore or I go to your website.
well,
How?
no, just go on the Apple Play or what's the other one? What's the other one? Google
Okay.
Play store, and just type in Whova, WHOVA, in Lode Hoover. And then you find our event, search our events, 78th annual Workers' Comp Educational Conference. It will appear. And then if you're an attendee, you simply put in your name and the email address that you registered under, and you're in.
So it already knows me. I just haven't made the introduction to it.
Yeah, yeah, it already knows you. We've
Okay.
from the back end, all the attendee information has been uploaded. So, yep.
That's intriguing. We talked about new attendees. If you're one of the more experienced folks in the community, what would you recommend for somebody that's been going to this for 20 years, that's maybe fresh and different, that'll give them something they haven't seen elsewhere?
Well, this year we added a new track on Wednesday, the technology and artificial intelligence track. We have 4 sessions that are specifically geared towards uh, those subjects. Although, if you look at the program, there are some other sessions that incorporate some AI subjects as well, because that's something that's new. We expanded our fraud program on Wednesday. We're going to talk about claimant fraud, employer fraud, and healthcare provider fraud. Tuesday morning, we have another focus in on first responders and the presumption laws related to first responders, because certainly uh, those laws have expanded significantly across the nation. I would say, within the last 5 years, especially. So there's a focus on that, and really, as you go through the program, it really depends on what you want to learn about, because you go into the adjusters program, you can get some specificity in terms of uh, the pitfalls, or the not the pitfalls, but the 120 120-day issues, at least
Hmm.
here in Florida. So there's really a range of specificity as it relates to each of the sessions, and especially, for example, on our medical issues. We get in this year. We have two sessions that kind of focus in on burns, and also amputees, and the latest in terms of treating injured workers who have been amputated or have severe burns. So go back to your analogy about a buffet. I mean, you have your main entree, your turkey or your roast beef or your prime rib. That's there, but then you have your little appetizers and side dishes as well.
Well, and to me, it's a breakdown of silos. Because from my perspective, I'm not a risk manager, but I can go listen to what is concerning risk managers, or I can go listen to what's concerning adjusters, what's concerning medical providers. And so, from my perspective, I don't really need much more judicial education, but I can go and sort of find out what's bothering or concerning other people in the marketplace. And I think a risk manager or an adjuster or a doctor could do the same thing and sort of get a very broad focus on what this effort looks like and how we each fit into it.
Yeah, we can fall into our own little silos, or ivory towers, and you're exactly right. This gives you an opportunity in a really friendly atmosphere uh, to say, "Hey, let me kind of move out of my comfort zone, and let me check out what other people are thinking about some of the issues that I'm having to specifically deal with." So, being a former regulator, we always emphasize the importance of communication, and how the failure of communication results in most problems.
Yeah.
And by learning and understanding other people's perspectives, maybe you can eliminate some of those problems or at least mitigate them.
And a big breakdown in the communication is not the failure to transmit, it's the failure to receive and to listen. And this, to me, gives you an opportunity to go sort of listen to people in their own environment and hear what they're talking to each other about. I think it's very powerful.
Oh yeah, yeah, and all of our speakers, they're more than willing to share and talk with you afterwards as well. We encourage them to be interactive during their presentations, engage in the audience, but they're there afterwards and are happy to engage with the audience members.
And I don't know how you come up with some of these speakers, the breadth of experiences and the depth of the experiences that they bring to the table. Some of these people are just, I don't know, they're just amazing. And I think just off the top of my head, people like Dr. Chris Brigham, people like Bob Wilson. Um, how do you attract this caliber of moderator and speaker to come year after year and devote time to this program? It's just amazing.
Yeah, really credit goes. We have 30 or so what I call breakout organizers and moderators. And they are the ones that kind of look at building or identifying some of the sessions they want to have, and then subsequently identifying the speakers. I'm there to assist them in any way because I have access to all this information
Yeah.
in terms of who's attending or who's attended in the past, who has reached out and said, "Hey, I'm interested in speaking, and here's something that I would like to speak about." So I think what certainly has happened over the years is that the speakers get a sense of value and they want to share their expertise and knowledge to their colleagues. And that's another way of giving back. If we hoard our knowledge and our experiences, shame on us. And I know this industry is trying to attract uh, younger people who want to stay in this industry and replace us in the future. And this is a great way for our speakers and moderators to give back. And it's just a reflection on the conference on, I think, how important it has become to the industry that, hey, we have to be here and let's share what we know with our colleagues to improve the workers' compensation systems, because I think that's what we're here for, regardless if you advocate on behalf of the employer or if you advocate on behalf of the employee. It's all about what we think we can do to better the system.
I remember the year after Judge Lazara retired, I guess about 8 years ago now. I ran into him at the WCI, and I jokingly asked him. I said, "Judge, you're retired. What are you doing here?" And he looked at me and he said, "Dave, it's August. This is just what you do." And I think there's a sort of a sense of that. How many of these have you attended?
Oh, this is going to be my 22nd one.
And as
Yep.
as you look around, aren't there a fair number of people that you feel like can say the same thing or more, and you sort of
Oh,
see the
yeah,
same?
even more. We had a kind of a Teams meeting town hall with all first-time attendees last week, and I was explaining what to expect from the conference, and I also mentioned kind of the tone of the conference, and I said, what you'll find is that there's a great sense of togetherness, almost a sense of family as well. People are smiling, they're willing to engage with you. And so, going back to what Judge Lazara commented, I think that has permeated with our attendees because they go there, they learn, but there's also a sense of camaraderie that is established. And they say, gosh, I can't wait to see such and such who I met last year. I may have not have been in touch with them over the last year, but I'm looking forward to see them. I think it really brings people together in a positive way.
Yeah, there are real friendships. And I see people at this conference that I only see one time a year. And I do go to a lot of different functions, but for some reason, this is the one of the few places I get to see all these folks. Uh, I would be remiss if I didn't give just a plug. So let me just run through a couple things quickly. On Sunday, the 18th, from 10 to 10:50, a couple of our mediators are going to be doing best practices for attorneys and claims professionals. At the same time, competing across the hall are going to be three of other mediators doing reporting self-determination constraints and the MEAC opinion in 2023 about challenges with folks that show up at mediation. At 1 o'clock that day, we've got Kate Marshman, one of our mediators, doing Hey Siri, what's the latest with AI, as you mentioned. And then at 2 o'clock that afternoon, we've got one of our mediators doing a program on, now my phone's going, Hey Siri. Um, so later that afternoon, we've got one of our mediators doing negotiation techniques. And then on Monday, we've got four judges doing, I can't make it stop. Hey
Maybe
Siri,
just say,
stop.
there you go.
Let me turn my phone off. All right, lesson learned. I'll never say those two words again together.
Judge, you may have to attend one of those yourself.
Quickly, Monday, we've got five judges up for reappointment. We're doing a reappointment hearing with the statewide nominating commission on Monday. We're doing an AI program at 1 o'clock that afternoon. And on Tuesday, we've got just all kinds of wonderful stuff on attorney's fees at 10 o'clock in the morning with Judge Anderson and Judge Pitts. And then that afternoon at 2 o'clock, statutory employment with Judge Kerr. That is all going to be interesting stuff and really has more than just a Florida flavor to it, but it's going to be largely Florida. All that stuff's up on our website if anybody wants to look up where the OJCC is contributing folks. I promised you when you agreed to do this, Mr. Sabalik, I wouldn't keep you all day. And I know, I mean, gosh, you got to be down in Orlando. So uh, to sum it up, are there other things we haven't talked about that you'd encourage people to think about with this program or any parting thoughts or words?
Well, no, yeah, I think one of the other great aspects and opportunities here at the conference is the regulatory and judicial and legislative activities and sessions that occur. We have a wonderful partnership with the National Workers' Compensation Judiciary College, who puts on a track for workers' compensation adjudicators from across the country. We also partner with the Southern Workers' Compensation administrators. They bring regulators from, I don't know, 23, 24 different states and their staff because, to learn and grow as well. And so there are a lot of judges and a lot of regulators milling around the conference, and really, for many attendees, they don't get an opportunity to interact with these type of individuals. So, if you do happen to see one, I would encourage you to say hello because these individuals need to hear about you too, as well. So that's another aspect of the conference, and it's kind of near and dear to my heart since I always spoke on regulatory issues there.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
I think way too many people feel like there's some reason to be shy. I would echo that. I really enjoy it when somebody comes up and says, I hate to interrupt you, and I say, well, you're not interrupting me. And they say, they're shy and sort of, uh, I don't know, reluctant. and I
Yep.
enjoy it. I wish they would come
Yep.
up and speak out. And um, I love the people that start with, "Let me tell you what I really like about Florida," and then they tell me what they don't like, or you know.
Yep.
But if we're not hearing that, I think we're giving up a great opportunity to better understand what this community looks like and what we can do better.
You're spot on. Couldn't agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more. But really to wrap up, it's WCI appreciates everyone's involvement with the conference. Our volunteers. There's only a staff of four paid individuals, which includes me, and we rely a lot on volunteers, not only from helping with developing all the sessions, but manning the conference during the dates, and then our sponsors and exhibitors, and finally, really the attendees, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yes,
And our goal is to continue to always provide value because people have to financially invest in the conference. And if we're not providing a good value, then shame on us and shame on me. So that's where our focus is.
that is kind of a ridiculous statistic, though. You tell us you got 440 speakers, you got 15 tracks, you got 400 exhibitors, you got 5,000 people coming, and there's four of you that are full-time year-round making that all happen, and the rest of it is this amazing cadre of folks who are just pitching in and contributing. That's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep. Yep.
And if I'm not wrong, on Monday morning at the opening session, you're going to recognize one of those folks, right? And you bring them up
Oh,
and
yes. Yes, we always do a volunteer of the year recognition. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
And then you sort of brushed over. I know I said I was going to let you go, but it's just reminded me. You kind of brushed over in the opening session that you said there's some awards and things, but some of that stuff's pretty heartwarming. Some of it is at times almost tear-inducing. There probably are some folks that do get reduced to tears by some of it. What are those awards quickly? What are folks going to hear about?
Well, you know, we again we have a wonderful partnership with PC 360, and we're going to be recognizing three companies for their excellence in workers' compensation risk management. Uh, we'll also have somebody from Give Kids the World talk about Give Kids the World in general, but the results of the golf tournament. And finally, we're going to have someone speak about Give Kids the World and the results of all the fundraising activities and the service day projects. So, that we're hitting all of our kind of our three pillars right in that opening session. So we're very proud of that.
Yeah, it's really neat to hear about the people that we're providing a service and a benefit to. Um, I find it heartwarming part of the session or the conference. I encourage folks to attend that opening session. Yeah, there's a lot of good information there. There's good education there. But if you really want to feel good about the people that are sitting around you, the people that went out there and spent their Saturday working or whatever they've done for these folks, I find it very heartwarming and rewarding just to know that these are the kinds of people I'm surrounded by. It's pretty neat.
Yep, it is. It is.
I appreciate you taking the time to put this together, and I appreciate all the effort that goes into the conference. I'll look forward to seeing you, I guess, in about 6 days.
Yeah, thank you, Judge, and I appreciate all your involvement. And I want to let people know that Judge Langland is a part of our board of advisors, and he gives us valuable feedback, and he's always been committed to this conference and making it better. So, thank
Yeah,
you,
I
Judge.
appreciate that. Thank you. And we'll see you in Orlando. Really, it's not even 6 days. So
Yeah, exactly,
travel
exactly.
safely and be well. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.